Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for checking out this episode. So this episode I wanted to focus on was the past 3 days I was at a workshop that really focused on what they called files. And the definition of files is pretty much the meaning that we apply to anything that occurs in our lives. And it could be consisting of thoughts, it could be consistent of actions, it could be thoughts or consistent of beliefs, and how we can change the viewpoint and change the interpretation we have on things from a day-to-day basis. So let me break that down for a minute. How we view our parents, how we view the cars we drive, how we view the day's weather for that matter. It's all about perspective, and it's, as we know, it's, perspective is everything and perception is reality, as they say, the cliche goes. But how important it is to realize that if we question reality for a minute and sit back and wonder, who says that that's the way it is? So a perfect example is someone was talking about how she and the rest of her friends who are all mothers, they talk about mom stress and mom guilt. And they talk about how they feel like they can't do things on their own because there's this mom guilt. And who's the person that suddenly came up with mom guilt? What does that mean? Who's the only people that are feeding into that as a concept are the ones that are claiming that it's theirs. They're claiming this idea that they have guilt because they're a mother and they can't do things because they have to be a good mother and be there for their kid 24/7, which means they're not putting their own needs ahead of theirs. They're not putting their desires or their wishes. Their only idea of significance and validation comes from being a mother. And there's so many other things that they could do, but because they keep telling themselves this story that they have this guilt from being a mother, that's stopping them and restricting them from really going after what they actually want out of this life. Not saying that motherhood is not enough by any means, but it was just the one example that she came up with because she wants to create a business and she wants to do all these things that are magnificent in the world. But if you keep holding yourself back because of these limited beliefs and thoughts on these quote unquote files, so for example, that scenario, it talks a lot about how when she views her friend group and her idea of being a mom, that is a file. And what are these beliefs within that file system internally? And so even for myself, the way I viewed growing up in the way that I did and how it affects me now as an adult. And it made me realize, going back to what I want out of this life and what's preventing me from getting this. I talked about this in the last video. I was honestly very scared to put myself out in YouTube. And that's me being vulnerable for a minute because, you are putting yourself out there into this platform on social media where people are free to judge and free to criticize and to poke fun, and you're afraid of what people are going to think, and you want to change people. And for me, for that matter, like I realized this weekend what my goal is I want to limit the pain for the people watching this. So you watching this moment for now over 3 minutes long. My goal is to be able to give you so much insight and inspiration and advice and knowledge, and hopefully some comedy thrown in there here and there, to limit the pain you experience on a day-to-day basis. Because by doing so, it not only validates you as a human, that you don't need to go through pain in order to go through life. Like, people feel like that life needs to be difficult and life is hard. Who says that? Who thought that life is difficult and that sounded good one day? So I'm going to say, you know what? That is my thought. No, it's not. That's what you start to believe, but that's who says that life is difficult? You say life's difficult and you go to the next person. They love life every minute. It's all about how we view things and the interpretation that we tag to that. So something that happened when you were a child, let's say that you were playing basketball one day and some older kid came up to you and said, you can't play basketball, you suck at basketball, and now you start to believe that. And because of a moment when you were 8 years old that some older bully kid told you that you were horrible at basketball, now your confidence in playing is gone. But that's because you interpreted that comment as reality, as the truth. And I'm here to tell you, what if that's false? What if it's up to you, which it is, to create that new reality? You want to play basketball. You think you're good at playing basketball because it's a joy for you. Go play damn basketball. Don't let someone else's interpretation of you be the reason why you're not doing something you enjoy to do. And that's what I'm saying across the board, whether it's personally, whether it's professionally, whether it's your family, whether it's your career, whether it's the way you view money, whatever the action was that you had went through when you were younger. And when I say younger, it doesn't necessarily mean you were a kid. It could have been yesterday, because yesterday technically you were younger. But whatever this action was that occurred in your past that led you to start taking on a belief and interpreting it as a reason for you not to do something, or for you to start believing something that's not even truth, I'm here to say that's bogus. And I'm here to give you that message that for anyone watching this, that if you start really thinking about what these files you have within you, viewing your parents, viewing your significant others, your children, whoever it is, it could just be situations. Like I brought up the simple example of a car even. You could view the fact that your car, because you drive a Ford Focus, isn't the most flashy car, and now you're self-conscious about that because someone, when you first got it, told you, man, I have an Aston Martin, I have a BMW, and now you start to interpret that as your car's not good enough. That's what you are putting the meaning behind. But in all reality, your car's a gas saver. Your car is more efficient. Your car has all these different qualities. Your car may be red, and that's your favorite color. These things that it's all about how you apply to the meaning. And here's the key word out of all this. You have the choice to decide what you apply meaning to and what that interpretation actually is. So the moral of this entire video is that you have the choice to apply whatever you want to anything that occurs throughout your life. There's no set rule of what it has to be. You are your own creator of your life, and you are magic, because the fact that you watch this for almost 7 minutes now shows me that you want a different life, and you are inspired by the idea of being able to create that life for yourself. So until next time, I hope you have an incredible afternoon, incredible night. I say this in every video, no matter when you're watching it. I hope you have an incredible rest of the day. And until next time, I'll see you then.